So that's giving radical candor. Next, you want to gauge it. Because, as I said before, radical candor gets measured not at your mouth, but at the other person's ear. But it's kind of difficult to know what's going on at someone else's ear. So there's a couple of things you can do. One is just pay attention to the other person's response. Don't get so focused on what you're saying that you're ignoring the other person. And then you want to choose the correct vector on the radical candor framework. So what do I mean by choosing the correct vector? Start in kind of a neutral place. You don't want to start all the way at the outer edge of challenge directly, but you do want to make sure you're above the line on care personally. And then you want to pay attention to how the other person responds. Now, sometimes the other person will be sad, and that'll make itself manifest in a variety of different ways. So when someone is upset, the last thing you want to do is back off your challenge, because now you have confused them and wound up in ruinous empathy. So you want to make sure to go the right direction on care personally, not the wrong direction on challenge directly. And yet it is so human and so normal to just back off your challenge. Someone looks upset and say, oh, it's no big deal, it doesn't really matter. When I worked at Apple, it was incredible. We would hire these actors to do the role play. And the reason why we hired actors is because actors can cry on command. And as soon as these actors would start to tear up, these kind of badass software engineers would say, oh, it's okay, it doesn't really matter, and this was just a role play, and they knew they were supposed to be challenging directly, but it's really very deeply instinctive to back off your challenge when someone's upset. And that's not the right thing to do, because it's still a problem. Just because they're upset about it doesn't mean a problem's not a problem. Instead, you want to take a moment and attend to the emotion in the room. Now, sometimes the emotion is not sorrow, it's anger. This is my very sophisticated graphic for someone yelling at me. It's not throwing up. I've had a lot of situations where someone's yelled at me when I've given them feedback. I've never, fortunately, had anybody throw up.